CROM Update 53, joined by the brother of David Molina, John Molina. I can't believe I get to work with two incredible artists that just so happen to be brothers. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Kurt. I'm happy to finally get to talk to you.
Oh, this is I've been saving all this gushing just for today with you. You started jumping on, was it the CROM podcast?
Yes,
My live streams?
It was a CROM podcast with
Right.
with my brother David.
Right. So, just so everybody knows, and I'll never get tired of telling this story, and forgive me if you will, people out there that have to listen to it for the upteenth time. David Molina was the first person I reached out to come play with me in the CROM sandbox. Knew nothing about him other than his incredible Instagram feed with these David already has his own playlist on CROM the Barbarian YouTube channel. 9 episodes, I think we're up to, and everything. He did one of the 5 guest artist covers, and he and I are working on a story called The Last Druid. The Last Dryad. And then, John, you started, chirping about I got some ideas,
All right.
And then I'm thinking, well, this is David Molina's brother. Maybe he's got something. Let's encourage him. And man, the pages you started sending me, what the heck is going on here?
well, Kurt, it all started with David, right? I was on my own path. I was trying to figure out what to do with my own art, and I was going the lazy route. I want to do short stories and do like 5-10 drawings on these stories, and maybe put them up on Amazon KDP. But and David was like, "Hey, why don't you try?" Because I knew he was doing the whole comic thing, but he was like, "Why don't you have you ever thought about doing comics?" I was like, "Nah, I don't got time for that," So he told me about you, that he had a podcast with you. And I looked at it, and I saw that it was CROM, and I love Conan. So let me get something real quick.
Yep.
I don't have that many comic books, but these are some of the that I've had like for years.
Yeah.
I love Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Destroyer, even though a lot of people don't like that one, the movie with Arnold. And this CROM the Barbarian was right up my alley. And I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to commit, but I was like, this is my answer to art. I'm trying to do something with my art, but at the same time, I don't want to tell Kurt that I want to play in the sandbox and then come up short. That was my main concern.
Thank you.
But and then I decided. Say again?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And I decided to reach out to you when I started doodling.
Yep.
I started doodling. I came up with this. It's a whole different style. It's like a more realistic style right here.
Yeah.
But it's not really my style. My style is this right here, like cartoon stuff. That's my style right there.
Love it.
And I was doing different character positions, and I don't know where I was going with this, to tell you the truth. But that's my style right there. And I was struggling with this style right here because it's not really my style. I was trying to do something realistic, but I just toned it down and came up with this like cartoon style right here.
Well, I would even go one step further and say manga, which is going to be something I want to unpack with you in just a little bit. But I just want to thank you for reaching out and sending these samples, because right now I have, and we're going to go through, I think, just maybe one or two, because I just want to. I love teasing people
Right.
to make them come back and talk. But I'm gonna let a cat out of the bag and say you are the answer to a prayer I put out about 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was, and I'm hoping by working with you in collaboration on CROM, CROM the Barbarian and the Serpent's Lair, to really unpack this American obsession with manga,
Right.
and people sort of, God bless them. I mean, I'm not anti anything, but I just I kept thinking, like I said, in like a prayer kind of way, like, man, it would be really neat to see somebody do an old school manga version of CROM, and here it is. So where do I send this check to, John?
Oh man. All right. Yeah.
So
all right. I'll go for
so
it.
the thing, I'm already seeing you and David having personality wise, which is great. But you're very conscientious individuals, which is better than great. It's awesome. But like David, you guys are probably spend way too much time overthinking
Yes.
what you're supposed to do based on God only knows who said supposed to do, how it's supposed to be. And I used to be in that world, but I have definitely designed a meditation to get me out of this dictator in my mind that's the publisher and the gatekeeper and the such. So I just, from here on out, and like David, I'm just going to be on you to stop overthinking and produce more.
Okay.
Because one of the things about collaborating with me, right out of the gate, is the editorial part of it. And it's not only just me, but I can also speak for my collaborator on Turbo Pit Fighter, Jake Jacobs, who's the
Right.
penciler and primary writer, who he's also a superior editor in comic books. He studied with Denny O'Neil. So there's more resources here than publishing to make you rich and famous.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and
So
this now that you said that, like, I'm having fun doing this. I'm having fun doing
it comes
this.
across.
Yeah,
It comes
I'm
across.
not expecting any payment. I just love the process.
Good.
It's just great.
So the thing I have to say is, who's influencing you? Because you're showing, the majority of what we get in Conan the Barbarian material is, you said realistically rendered, and that is a good term. But here you're on the other side of the coin. You are cartooning, and you're manga-ifying that cartooning style. So where are you coming from, influence wise, John?
Well, it's funny because I wanted to do animation for the longest time, and I was doing the digital animation thing. It's a lot of work, man. Just for a couple of seconds of animation, it's like 20, 30 drawings, and that's why this cartoony thing is like simplified, because I wanted it to be easy on me to animate, because this was going to be an animation short that never happened because it was just a whole huge workload. It was too much. And that's why you need a whole team of animators to do that. But my inspiration for that is, I'm going to show you. I don't know if this will show up right here. It's Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
This is like Mad Max right here, like anime. So that's my inspiration. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. I also grew up with Gargoyles, the Disney animated series. I started watching that again recently. It's freaking awesome. But I take inspiration from all those things. And another thing, I just mentioned Mad Max. I'm a movie guy. I love the Furiosa movies. That's why I picked this up, because this is like post-apocalyptic world right here. Yep. Yeah, it's just stuff. And what I did here, Kurt, is I love sword and sorcery, and I also love post-apocalyptic stuff, and I kind of merged them together. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but it just happened. So, and that's what I have here.
I love it. Yeah. I actually spent a part of my breakfast Googling, and I'm gonna flash. I can't. It's Zabangle, I think it's called. It's an old '80s anime, and it's based on like construction mecha in on another planet. And
Okay.
I actually had they would put out these albums that were magazines basically, which had all of the like character designs and stuff. Yeah. And like, even if you wanted to take it one more step closer to nailing my dream, the feeling in similarity is so close. It's kind of spooking me out.
Oh, wow.
And it's really the nose being that kind of bulbous, but it's like it's that place between cartooning and comic book. It was just. I never saw the anime. I picked it up because it was cheap and I kind of liked it. I actually tried to ape the style in the early 90s. But I actually have a comic strip that never got published, and I have the pencils for, that I am going to finish for the CROM Anthology down the road. So it's going to be kind of interesting, and it's futuristic, Barbarian, Mad Maxy. So, I'm just, this is really exciting. So my next question is, you've got how many? You have like 20 something pages plotted out. Is that correct?
I have about 13 to 14 pages maybe. I'm working on one. I'm almost done with a page right now. I was sitting in my kitchen. You know how it is. Working on this one right here. And the thing, Kurt, what I noticed, I'm glad I'm doing this, because I'll be working with David at Pariah Comics as well. Yeah. But I'm glad I'm doing this, because it just opened up my eyes to how complex these things could be sometimes. You got to be a good storyteller. Yes. Position the camera. And I don't want to toot my horn, but as I kept on drawing these panels, the drawings kept on getting better.
Yes. Experience. It's the guarantee. I also teach art and private lessons and stuff, and I always start with two things: keep it simple, silly. So when you, once again, goes back to stop overthinking shit. It's never gonna do you any good overthinking anything. The other thing is, the more you draw, the better you get. It's a guarantee. It's just more you draw. It doesn't even matter what you draw. Right. Like I draw all the time, like cans and doodling outside, a mailbox, whatever. It's like it's all about seeing. The thing about comics, or we could just say visual arts, two-dimensional visual arts, is that it's all in our heads. And so we struggle with it going out of our heads onto the paper. Exactly. And when if you've ever watched, there's reviews, not reviews. I had each one of my 4 stories in the CROM Collected was edited by Jake Jacobs. And it was not only my storytelling, but it was also the graphic quality. So things making sense and not making sense. But I do a lot of speaking about, I was trained as a painter, And one of the principles that I was trained on was put everything, including the kitchen sink and the bathtub, down on the paper. And then your job and responsibility as a creative is to learn to remove the things that are not necessary. They're not mistakes. They're not, so if you end up having things here and you're like, nope, and he's got to be bigger, that's great, because it's also going to remind you that, oh, I can go bigger, I can go smaller, I can go right, I can go left, I can go, you know what I mean? So that's going to be a part of your mechanics. But I'm just really kind of preaching to the crowd when I say that with you. I think the biggest question I have, and I've been trying to figure out a way to phrase it, because I'll just say it this way. How do you see this story finalized and in print? What would ultimately be your dream? Like, even if I'm not here, like, forget you're here with me, but you're just at the kitchen table and you're like, wow, if I got X amount of pages and I did this, pen and ink or color or digital, I could make a comic book, whatever. What's your dream here?
Oh, well, to tell the truth, I just wanted to, because I like the work you're doing. I'm going to do something like this. That's what I wanted to produce.
So you want to take it, you want to take this to this type of completion.
Yeah, but just like a 2 or 3 book series. That's where I was going with that. Like a 2 or 3 book series.
So like 70 plus pages story
arc.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now, you're planning on completing this on your own, right? You're not looking, you don't need per se an inker or a collaborator right now.
Well, I was hoping I would be able to collaborate with you, because I do not know how to ink.
Okay.
I'm not an inker. And the work that you do, like this, like Turbo Pit Fighter, like I know you're an artist as well. Because I've been watching Turbo Pit Fighter, your guys' videos with Jake Jacobs. Every Sunday I try to catch it. But,
yes, you do. You're there. Thank you.
But I noticed that Jake's pencils are loose, and that's, it's great, because he puts in the line of action and everything, and I'm over here trying to do everything perfectly, and then you come in. I guess that's a part of, yeah, exactly. Look at that. Man. Well, it looks pretty detailed too, man. Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, and my problem is I'm trying to have a finished drawing. That's why it's taking me a while to finish as well. But like you're the inker, like you're an artist as well, so you know, like how to, like this right here looks round. You got the cross hatching right here. It looks great, like the little shadow underneath the shirt and all that. I really like that inking style right there. It reminds me. That's another franchise I like. The Dread, but the old stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like this black and white stuff right here.
Yep.
Like that. That's freaking awesome. And Turbo Pit Fighter reminds me of this. Like that's what it reminds me of.
Yep. On purpose.
Yeah, and I don't like superhero stuff at all. I do like how they did it. This guy right here, Fairly Hyperman. He tried to be all cool. Well, anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent, but he gets killed.
It's fine. Yep.
No superheroes around here. But yeah, man. I don't know where I was going with that. But
no, you're fine. So the one thing in collaboration, specifically with me, is I have a list of things that I'm responsible for in order to get projects completed. I had a feeling you were going to ask me to ink. I am definitely interested. The thing, though, I want from you, there's two things I want from you
Yes.
before I can really truly consider collaborating with you, is to have one issue completed.
Okay.
So whatever page count in your story arc, you feel is how it needs to be, get there, and like 2 cover pinup splashy pages kind of presentations of the world, so it has more montage feeling than just oh, here's the character, here's CROM, just flimsy is what I always call a lot of comic book covers nowadays, because it's just like a panel scanned out, and then they just make it bigger and colored and then put a type on there. I just want to see that. That's part one. Part two is I definitely want you to, and I'm going to help you on this part 2 part. So, and there's no rush to get to it right now, because I know about Pariah Comics. I also know about David's collaboration with your brother Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
And just David's want and need to kind of publish on his own, and he's admitted out loud that he doesn't know what to do, he's never done it before and everything like that. And of course, being a part of the community and working on CROM and stuff is giving him some educational value. I would love for you to get something working continually for a while that can be in a Pariah comic, and in a CROM anthology.
Yes.
There's go ahead.
The what I was thinking with it, I wanted to be part of the CROM anthology with you. Present these stories, have them in your books, but at the same time, like I'm falling in love with some of these characters in here. And David and I were working on a world building pretty much. And just for fun, I want to have some of these characters pop up in the stories, like, boom, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For example, CROM may save someone or help someone out, and he'll just leave, and you won't see him again until maybe later. It won't be CROM-centric, but he's in that world.
Yeah. Yeah, because the one of the... I call it sort of like the parameters in collaboration with CROM and me, is that the CROM anthology can very much be a platform to promote another existing product.
Okay.
Illustrated book, comic book series, so on and so forth. It's hard to get people to kind of maybe coincide with me, though I'm getting more and more people to become appreciative of it. Yeah. But I feel the motivation is to keep producing, keep making, not specifically for CROM Anthology #1, not specifically for Pariah Comics #1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like, or CROM the Barbarian and the Serpent's Lair issue #1. It's to, just like I explained about having too much kitchen sink and the bathtub thrown in there, to be able to have that too much, to be able to then start crafting it into a publication.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because, I'm getting people aware of one big thing. I'm not a babysitter. I'm not a publisher. You cannot count on me to check in once a week to find out where you're at and everything like that. It's the creator's responsibility to maintain that communication with me. Hence this podcast. So the podcast is for us to have something to be like, hey, let's catch up. You know what I mean? What's going on? Let's oh, I got questions. Great. I got answers. I don't have an answer. Let's try to figure out the answer. So it has way more value for other people too, in order to keep and maintain that motivation, and the such. Because I have only one worry for you, John.
Okay.
And that is slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
like you feeling like you have to do that in order to get something done. Like I'm hoping you will trust me in this statement. I want you to exhaust yourself on this.
Okay.
Get 70 pages out there in pencils.
Mm-hmm.
And then and trust me, I will show you some magic that will open up your perspective in how to keep your creativity flowing.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll trust you, man.
Thank you. Because I have let's see, it's the first Sunday of February. David and I are getting together. No, Saturday. It's a Saturday we're getting together, February 1st. But I think the thing, like I said, is going to be really fascinating is when you guys have kind of hit your own momentum, because working with me, especially, I promote low to no stress.
Yes.
Means you just but there needs to be professionalism, and the first level and responsibility of professionalism is just communication. Okay. It's just like, hey, I know it's been a while, I haven't been able to get anything done because work, family, blah blah blah, and you should never feel bad about work, family, blah blah blah. But when you do, that's why I want to put it on you to stay in flow than trying to manipulate your time and your energy in order to create some kind of self-contained project.
Yes. Okay.
Because I do have a theory that I'd like to be able to work with you once you have just your version of inks. They might not be anywhere near the like, let's say the tonal rendering, but definitely the like. Let me show you another. Okay, so I do two types of inking. Like this is what I call the 80% stage. This is for Turbo Pit Fighter and the teaser we're working on right now, which is our third teaser.
Okay.
And this is just me thinking in line for all of that rendering. And then I do this crazy thing with liquid masking, and then I just wash a gray graphite, water-soluble graphite on there to create a tonal level, and then it becomes my responsibility to make things lighter, make things darker, put more texture here, da 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 da. So don't get yourself overwhelmed on going from 0 to 100. It's way more just getting you on paper in this sort of rendered, line thing. Making lines in order to make sense of what's inside your head. Okay? Yes. And then as you just said, and you're already experiencing it, wow, this is getting easier.
Yeah. It is.
It's just gonna and fun, and then you kind of take it from there. But I have, and I'm not showing any more pages because I want people to get super super excited about seeing more and more from you.
Okay.
Because I still can't believe I had somebody of this caliber submit this type of story about CROM. I got to be honest with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kurt. Thank you.
I just really, it makes me feel too, John, that I'm heading in the right direction with this project.
Yes.
And people are receiving my request to be a part of the community, whether it's in collaboration directly with me or finding somebody else to collaborate with. But it makes me feel like we're now all heading in the right direction. And that's really, I think one of the things too, the fatigue of social media and trying to get people to recognize you and stay with you and then buy something from you. All of us have this fatigue or anxiety or just sheer fear of it. But in numbers, nobody can complain. Yeah. And that's the goal. And that's the goal. If there's 100 of us, which is my goal, at some place and space, let's say, along the road of making their CROM comic, illustrated story, whatever it is, we're all going to share in that success.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love the whole black and white comic. I just like that. That was a draw for me. That was a draw for me. It's good. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but like this. I'm going back to this. Color is good and all that, but
it's tough.
There's something about black and white.
It's tough. Yeah. Me too.
And the reason why I like black and white, I tried color, especially when I was doing these animations, but I have some kind of color vision problem. It's not 100%, but I would ask my wife, "Hey, babe, what color is this? Is this green? Is this red?" Like, there's different shades, and I got tired of asking, like, "What color is this?" So I'm just gonna do black and white. And then you came along with your black and white comics, and it's freaking awesome, man. I don't know. I know that manga does black and white, but yeah, man, you came across and it was like, yeah, it's still good.
Cool. Do you have any other questions for me?
Oh yeah, the on the creator part, how do you do the borders here? Because I find it to be a pain in the butt. I use old school, just a ruler.
Yeah.
Is that how you do it? Is that like the best way to do it?
I actually do a lot of freehand.
Oh man.
And if you can definitely see it in the Turbo Pit Fighter. Now Jake rules out. He'll actually do a ruler on that. But I like just dragging my pen, and there's actually a ton of white I bring back in between these just to make sure that there's a placement. But the style is a tough thing. I think it should be something left to other people categorizing your art. In other words, if you can stay in touch with the communication you're seeing on the paper,
yes,
you're gonna start suspecting, like, oh, maybe I should try this. And with technology, like, one of the things I do is I have a large format printer. They're about it's a Epson Workforce 2-in-1 where it has a 13 by 19 scanning bed. It also prints out at up to 13 by 19. But like cardstock paper, like even an 8.5 by 11, I'll isolate a section in Photoshop, and then I will drop the opacity to like 10 or 15%, so it's a real light sketch, print it out, and then spend like 15 minutes to an hour just thinking on the paper.
Okay.
And like I said, that's something I'm number one with this communication with you on this episode is to encourage you to have 70 plus pages to be able to come back and start going, oh, okay, so page 1 and 2, I was thinking this. Page 35, I was thinking this. And then page 50, I started intersecting this and this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you can't jump. From page 1 to page 53 in knowledge. You just got to do the pages. And right. You gotta, this is thinking out loud. That's all it is. And you are already showing off the thing you're supposed to have, which is all these other great guys off to the side, the Conan Barbarian magazines and the
Oh yeah.
2000 AD, and you flip through and you go, oh, look,
Yep.
he figured that out. Oh,
Exactly.
okay, all right, and then like, okay, that doesn't really work. Let me try, white out. You know what I mean? And it all will eventually come together. It's a guarantee, as long as you keep making. But I want to keep you far away from the idea of complete.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
Don't worry about it. Like, this is done right now.
Okay.
You more than most people out there, John, have 9 pages complete. These are done.
Yeah.
Just feel that way. And then you're like, number 10, done. Number 11, done. Number 72, done.
Right.
All right, let me get some cut. You know what I mean? Done. Then you can sit down and say, okay, what am I supposed to do with all this done stuff?
Right.
And that'll be one of the intersections I'm looking very much forward to in working with you on. So,
okay.
But it's not going to be the next thing. The next thing I want to be able to sit down is just see another 9 pages from you.
Okay.
So when you have another 9 pages, we'll be in communique between the two, and then go from there. Because I have a Kurt at cromthebarbarian.com email account now.
Yes.
It's a Google Workspace. So there'll be, you're officially on the other side of the ropes now, in the ring. And, you'll be getting communication and updates on what's happening on CROM Anthology #1, things to be expected, timing issues, just all of that. But it's also to keep an open gateway and communication directly with me. So,
awesome.
And as I stated before, the professionalism from everyone who ends up working on CROM in the sandbox, if you will, with me. Even just to get something as a pinup, let's say, in the anthology. It's really about the communication. And as long as both of us have that pathway very clear, everything will be fine.
Yes. Yeah. I've been looking at, I'll call David. I'll bug him a lot. Just ask him questions because he's been doing it longer than I have.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at your stuff. I've been looking at your original stuff and this old school stuff right here too. A problem that I was getting into was it started becoming like too long. I was trying to show everything. Okay, CROM is right here. He's going over there. I was trying to show everything. And another thing that I was getting upset about is that I was telling my brother Dad, like, dude, how can I make this interesting? CROM is in the desert. He's running. He's walking. So in the beginning, it was like very, very stiff, very stiff. And I was like, David, how can I make this interesting? He's like, use a different camera angle. Try to make. He's like, you can't do much for a guy that's running in the desert. There's nothing in the back. It's just desert. So don't worry about it. You're gonna have boring panels like that. You have boring panels like that. But I was overthinking it, man. And then once he told me that, it just clicked. I did like right here. I changed the.
It's animated.
Angle.
You animate. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I've been using this book right here, and I've been picking David's brain, and now I've got this one right here. But I'm looking at the way you guys lay out the panels and stuff, and that's been a great help for me. This is the first time I've done.
It's the biggest challenge in comics.
Yeah,
because this gutter system is what defines a comic book, and so if you just take these 3 panels alone on this page, you're using the shape and the communique of the object, the figure, and then effects, even the to literally bring something to life. Like that's why I say, like, to criticize any of this is foolish for you or me or anybody. I mean, I could give suggestions to the day, the day turns dark. But it's not necessary right now. Like you have the greatest ally in your ring already, and he can't escape you because he's your brother. And David is very well versed in a lot of those little tricks, like he just said, like you got to think of things like this, not that, because David actually, it was really surprising when he told me, which was like 3 or 4 episodes into the CROM Updates, where he was like, yeah, I don't really know anything about comic books. I've never made a comic book before. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're like, but the thing is that his point of view is cinematographic.
Yeah.
In other words, when he probably, I'm guessing, I'll ask him, or hopefully he'll see this and he'll either refute me or endorse me. Is I think if he sits and watches a television show or animation or anything like that, he's able to kind of splice out scenes, like things. He could see 100 images, but pick out 4, and then he could lay those 4 in some kind of put, and it's like, wow, that's. Yeah. Because like I said, I had this folder of people on Instagram. I just couldn't get enough of their feeds. And then they were the ones I was going to, go to see if I could get other people to collaborate, at least, on the guest artist covers.
Right.
And for him, it was like, the thing that, like, when I say upset, I mean in the most positive way possible, is that I would see a post from him in the beginning, and I'd be like, oh, I got to get a copy of that comic book, and then find no comic book that went with the panel.
Yeah.
And so secretly, I was like, oh, well, I'll just get this guy on the podcast and corner him, and then he'll tell me about the comic book and when it's gonna come, blah 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 blah. I respect David in his creative process for being so not only unique but specific.
Right.
And that goes once again to one of the reasonings I picked him, and the other 4 individuals were, I don't see any of this anywhere else out there.
Right.
I might actually, you could probably say, oh, look, this person does just this kind of like thing. Yeah, but I'm talking about like the way things are placed inside, like this page alone, which is this size, by the way.
Yeah.
I shrunk it by like a quarter of an inch on each side to get it to fit on here. You could spend a half a day just finding and figuring things out. The storytelling in this is just amazing. There's nothing, Ken Landgraf is the GOAT, and I learned so much from him. But once again, having somebody like Adam Dodds put together this, just pulling the curtain, it's just, and then if you've not seen all these videos, I'll give you the spoiler to the videos, John. They all say the same thing. They had no idea what they were doing when they were going in. They had no idea. They were honest, as much as I do. Have no idea when I sit there. And I think that's the best part of it. I really do. I think that's the number one reason I make art, is I have no idea what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I have skills, but that doesn't mean I just sit and make magic. No. And I have to figure out my way. It means I got to chuck things out of my head. Either some other artist told me, or I heard on the internet, or I met at a convention and they took my portfolio review. It was like, you guys stop doing this. You guys start doing that. Or just the stupid little general that's in my head. Kurt, this is how you got to make a comic book to be successful, make money. Get rid of those people. Just get rid of those people. Just get rid of them. They got nothing. They got no responsibility of you and your creativity. You do.
Right.
You do.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I kneecapped myself for the longest time.
We all do.
I love Frank Frazetta's work, and I read or heard somewhere that he never used reference. So I was doing my own thing. Like, yeah, exactly. I was doing my own thing, trying to draw my own things, but without reference, without even anatomy and stuff like that, and I was going nowhere for years. And I decided to do. I grabbed one of those nursing books that shows all the muscle groups and stuff. This was back in the like '90s or early 2000s. I grabbed a book. I think one of my aunts had one, and it had all like the muscle groups and stuff like that with the names and all that. So I started doing that, and I started using reference. And what I do now, I have a 3D program. It's not even a program. You could go online. It's called Pose My Art, I believe.
Yes.
They're mannequins. They're little mannequins, and you just move them around. I use that, and I also use like this is a page I was working on. You gotta know the basics, right? Like 1 point perspective, and sometimes you can't find the right or the adequate reference, so you have to. There's no way around it. You have to make your own thing.
Yep, make it up.
So you gotta make it up.
And like make it work.
Yep, you gotta make it work. No reference right here, but it's a process. It's a process. These are a bunch of doodles I did, trying to figure out these ape men, trying to see how I should make them. This is just some of the sketches and doodles. The way I work, I don't know if that's the way, but like you said, everyone has their own way of doing things. You know, just clean it up. And one thing that I believe is David and you told me about was this thing is freaking awesome, man. The lightbox.
Lightbox, yes. Good
oh
for
my
you.
Goodness. I was coming from digital drawing, right? Like digital painting and stuff. Right. And the thing I found out about that is it's not like holding a pencil. It's not calibrated. It could be as calibrated as you can make it calibrated, but it's not going to be the same thing as pen or pencil on paper. And I was finding that frustrating. And David was the one kind of like, hey man, just pen and paper or pencil and paper, do this and that. And I was like, nah, But I have more control. I went back to my roots. I have more control on the lines, and it flows better. I don't know how to describe it. I don't have one of those expensive ass pads, the ones that you actually draw on.
Wacom.
Yeah, I doubt it's gonna be anything near pencil and paper. But this thing is awesome. If anyone's doing comic books, this thing is a lifesaver. It'll help you with your art. It's just great. I don't know where I was that I didn't know about this stuff right here, but it's awesome.
You're on your path. Well, look, I am happy. I am happy to say I'm glad that you're on board. Do you have any other questions before we let these people get back to reading comics, making them if they choose?
I do not. I think that was it. And if I do, I'll just ask you a question whenever you're online.
Exactly. And the exactly the way you introduced yourself to me and you were submitting stuff to me and everything, just please do it through the Kurt@cromthebarbarian.com email, because then I'm setting up each collaborator with their own folder in the Google Drive, so it's all in the right place. And if I have to come back and reference something, I can send that as an attachment back to you or to somebody else. So it's something to help me keep all of this insanity, in communication as well, just together. But I really also am looking forward to sitting down with you in a couple of weeks. Let's say it took you 2 months to do these 9 pages?
Yeah, because I had no idea what I was doing.
That's fine. It's fine. I said, I'm just putting an order in for the next 9 pages.
Yeah.
And then when you get close to it, we'll set up we'll schedule our next CROM update podcast.
Okay. It's taking me about a week to complete a page. About a week. Like this one, I'm almost done with this. I just need to render it. But that's what I'm trying to do a page per week. Well, I'm at lunch break or whatever, I'll doodle, I'll brainstorm, and I'll even do the initial sketches at work whenever I can, like these right here. And then when I have time on the weekends, I'll listen to Turbo Pit Fighter in the background.
Awesome.
I'll be doing my own thing. But it's taking me
Awesome.
about a week to finish a page. I wish I was
That's
faster,
good.
but
Nah, that's good.
I
That's I
can't.
was gonna say for most people, they're probably just they got tears in their eyes that they wish they could actually get. Especially like I said, it's a low to no stress project here. We have families, we have jobs, we have stress, we have real world stress. And we need to just not compound that with that. But then the professionalism of it all is just stay in communication, and things will work out. So once again, looking forward to working with you, John.
Awesome. It was awesome talking to you, man. I've just been on the side for a while, just listening to you guys, and it's pretty cool that I finally got to talk to you.
You're all,
Thanks for having me on board, man.
you're welcome. I'm glad you're now on the other side of the fence with us, and you're gonna rock and roll on some stuff. So
Awesome.
we'll look forward to it. All right, hold tight.